again. Well, here we are, about 5 minutes away from our show. And you know what? This whole time, I forgot to make plans for the show. I guess we're just going to wing it. I'm just kidding. I've got all kinds of notes all over the place. And I'm so excited. See you soon.
I remember the first time I said it. We were driving to the mountains. Sometimes I just want to disappear, I said. You freaked out. Afterwards, I only thought it to myself. Here's another banana peel on the ground. Stop for it. I'm just going to take a picture. It's about 50 banana peels I've seen this week. She walks on. She walks on. She looks at me as she reads his stories. She looks at someone else's clothes. To left onto her classmates. Didn't seem to notice it.
Here we are. Here we are. We are anticipating. There it is. There it is.
And here we are. Welcome
are.
back. Welcome back. Another episode of Midnight Across America. I am Craig.
And I'm Mallory.
That would be a good time to put up our names. Chris, we didn't plan this. There we go. And welcome back. Wow, it's so good to be back. I have a new set. You have a new set. We're very excited to play some music videos, to play some animations, to take a bunch of your phone calls. And that's really kind of the most important part. And Chris, if you can put up that phone number, because it's very important that you dial our number tonight to get a hold of us. It's 712-345-6648. And of course, if you're calling from Canada, like my friend over here,
that's where I am.
This friend.
You can call. Fuck, we're gonna get that.
Yeah, we're gonna get it.
Sorry, yeah.
There we go.
You can call. You can call toll free 1-866-345-6648.
And do that right now. You'll talk to Pippa, who's a really incredible person, and
She really is.
yeah, she really is, and she'll get you. Actually, you know what? A lot of people have been calling in and or writing me and telling me that they just stop at Pippa. They're like, we don't want to go on the show. We were just wanting to check in with you. How's everything? I've been hearing she's got like board games. She's sending out, birthday cards to people. It's pretty incredible.
That sounds like Pippa.
That's
it does.
It really does. It really does sound like Pippa. Well, Mallory, welcome back. Another week, another show. It's been an eventful one here on our side of the border. How have things been up there with you this week?
Here? Well,
yeah. yeah.
Dissimilar.
Yeah.
I think we're all going through shared things, but it certainly looks different depending on where you are in the world. But
yeah,
our two countries are in a very specific moment right now. So
yeah, they really are. Yeah, we're like, I'll be honest, I've been planning like my retreat to you or to Mexico. I've been thinking about it, and like lining up what I will do. How do you feel like being on the other side? Like the whole world is looking kind of at you, and you guys have made the most aggressive move towards us this week.
Well, it's so funny that you said aggressive.
Yeah, well, aggressive. Yeah, right. Aggressive.
It's still so, the way it happens is so Canadian, the ways, that people know us. It's like, we're so good at passive aggression. Like that's like
right.
Our bread and butter. Oh wait, yeah, I heard this quote being thrown around the past couple of weeks, given the fucking trade war. The Canadians have two modes. Yeah, war. Have two modes. I'm sorry, and you're about to be sorry.
Well, listen.
But even that, like, I don't know if you saw, like, I don't know if you've been watching. I'm trying to watch like all of the media, like Canadian media and American media. It's entirely too much to keep up with.
Yeah, right.
But so much of the sentiment coming out from like our media is like, why are our friends doing this to us?
Yeah, well, that's a very reasonable ask.
Yeah.
Honestly, why? I mean,
well,
it's
fascism,
pretty wild.
Bully, like money. Well, there's lots of pretty obvious reasons why.
God, and I'm like addicted to it again. I'm addicted to this spiral of like depravity, and my YouTube habits anyways. Like they're pretty outrageous. Like, cops getting arrested from other cops. That's really was my thing for a while. Yeah. So it's not like I'm any stranger to depravity, but this is like another level. It's like a joke. It's like a government joke. And I feel like
it's like the most serious joke ever, though. It's like, I think that's the thing that it's it does feel like the way things are being, like, it is a joke. Like, we're I don't know anybody, but I know that there are probably some Americans who are believing that Trump did good negotiating with us in Mexico, where like
Well, that's the
we
thing.
were already doing the things
That's the
that he
thing,
requested. But again,
and
that's
it's
where
not
like,
just somebody. I saw a clip that like Joe Rogan was. I thought I thought that all of these that I don't really follow, but like these like imbeciles of the centrist, like we're just calling it like we see it, bro. Yeah.
that was a good impression.
And I thought, yeah, and I thought like at least now they can see what's going on, and of course they co-sign all of it. They're so impressed with what's going on, and so you start to second guess your own reality, and like, am I crazy? Like, why is everything backwards all of a sudden? And I don't. Like, okay, here's like my biggest beef of the week.
Ooh.
So Bernie's, I watched the RFK's confirmation. Confirmation, is that Catholicism? whatever. He was being knighted or whatever, and I watched that whole thing, and he was being questioned by Bernie Sanders, and he called out Bernie Sanders for being for taking millions of dollars from pharmaceutical companies. And Bernie corrected the record, and he said that he had taken it from individual workers in small donations, which I think is the fact, right? Well, it doesn't matter. Everybody, including all of like the Bernieites that also love fucking RFK for some reason, they are all like seconding that, and they're like, Bernie is the most corrupt. He takes all of this. And it's like, okay, I guess reality just doesn't even matter. Or am I the one that's being tricked? Okay,
No.
here's the question. I really want anybody out there that thinks that they have the definitive answer on this question, please call in. And normally I wouldn't incite the lines to politics. Like, that's the last thing I really want to talk about. But I do want to, here we are. And I do want to hear, what are the facts here? What are the facts that I'm missing? Because I feel like I have been presented with plenty of facts to establish that I'm on the right side of this. But for a second, I want to pretend to be open, and I want somebody to tell me with like, there's no offense here. I want somebody to tell me what I'm missing. What facts am I missing about, let's just say, the Bernie Sanders thing? How is that not manipulation of the facts? That's where I'm at with it. I feel like but I'm not gonna fix this. What am I gonna do?
No, but that's not like why we talk about it, Like, I think that's I love that open-ended, like generous question that you're asking. And for me, I mean, just knowing you, and given that I did my master's in media studies, like media literacy across the board is not a thing. It's not like a normalized thing. And like how quickly technology and media developed, like a lot of people didn't know, like, generations older than us, like it wasn't built into education, so I think that is necessarily a function of like misinformation, and also like there's this huge move to like anti-intellectualism right now, which is like really horrifying.
Yeah, like fuck universities, fuck academia.
Yeah, fuck experts, fuck people
fuck
who
science.
have like spent time learning things.
I saw a clip of a guy say, and this is, I don't even want to say his name because he's such a fucking idiot,
Right.
but he said that it's not, but he's like the established like godhead of this like underground, anti-information movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it's not certain to him that people wouldn't be better if they didn't have access to pharmaceuticals. Like what?
People wouldn't be better. Wait,
people would not be better. People wouldn't be more healthy, I think, specifically, if it wasn't if they didn't have access to pharmaceuticals, meaning like them taking away people's access to pharmaceuticals. He's saying, I'm not convinced that it won't be better.
Oh God. Ugh.
And it's like, don't you understand? My parents are kept alive by pharmaceuticals every month. A fucking handfuls of them.
Yeah.
Most of the people I know are.
Same.
Yeah, I'm talking
And
about, right.
That doesn't mean I have criticism for like over prescribing, but again, it's like they're like also like band-aids for the fucked up systems we're in. Like it's their like our reliance on them often is also, but that's not how those fucking dummies are talking about it.
And I'm willing to give a little bit there. Listen, all of this stuff that's come out about USAID, right? And all of this like insane amount of spending that's going on. I'm not so upset that a lot of those programs aren't getting a second look at, right? Now, most of them probably need to be there, let's just say. But I don't mind there being like a strict accounting for taxpayer stuff and the people who are getting paid off down the line on it. I'm sure that there's a lot of corruption in government financing. Of course there is. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like I can be on your side with this. But like, why you got to be such an asshole about it?
Well, that's the thing. It's not about like actually trying to be more like responsible about allocating money. Like this pull with the USAID is like extreme nationalism. Like it's not because, they're like actually care about the money. It's like fascism, extreme nationalism first. It's like, why would we care about anybody else American? And they're not actually going to use that extra money to help Americans. Sorry.
No, well, I know they're yeah. I mean, I don't even want to get that far down the road. And obviously, like, yeah, of course, I don't trust any of them. They're all sons of bitches. But
yeah.
I'm just trying to find a reason to well, you know what? Who gives a shit? Reason? We're here on Saturday nights. And that's the last, I need to talk about politics. I guess it's just been heavy on my heart and I needed to talk about it. I don't want to say
that's the last I want to talk about it either.
Okay, yeah.
We don't need to keep going right now. But I think, there have been times where it's been easier to focus on different things, but when we first started, 5 on It Live, we weren't in the specific moment. And I think it would be weird if we didn't address, that
you're right.
What's going on.
You're right.
I think especially because what we're trying to do here, the crux of what we're doing is community building. And for me, that's literally the only way through this. Cause can't trust or rely on the government at all. So yeah. It's kind of a part of what we're doing anyways.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And this is a forum and it is what's going on. And I'm sure that everybody that's in the chat is being, I see you guys there right now. I'm sure you've been affected by this as much as I've been affected by this.
All over too,
Yeah. We've got people from all over.
Feeling it.
Yeah. We're in it together.
We are.
And again, that this is exactly why we started this show and this community. This is a place to come. And I'm sure that the consequence of what is going on in the world is going to bring a lot of other things to the surface. And some of those things might get lost in the mix. Here's the place to talk about them. I'm no expert and I'm no lawyer, but I'm curious and I like to listen. And I think that we can be of service, in that way, to have it out, have it out.
Yeah.
To have it out.
Yeah. I think that's also the way through this,
having
building places where you can have it out.
Yeah. I do feel very lucky. I talk to my parents and my parents are so on my side about it. And I don't feel this
That's
you know, like I kind of want to like go off about it, and I start screaming about, "Nah, nah, nah, nah," you know, and my parents are like, I know, same, and I'm like, all right, you know, yeah, good,
I,
good.
I
So
can,
I'm very lucky in that way. I'm very, very lucky in that way, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that don't have it like that.
yeah, I mean, I'm about to spend some time with my family, and yeah, I mean, I know
Oh,
with a lot of them, except for like my sister, but some, the closer ones, like we just can't talk politics. But like
mm,
that's sometimes easy. Sometimes right now I'm like, I don't know how, just because it's everywhere,
yeah,
it's like so out loud everywhere. And
yeah.
it's also like in and on me and my body. Like I'm a
Hmm.
queer, non-binary person, like
Hmm.
emerging.
Do you feel like I'm sure you feel some sort of way about this, but do you feel specifically like something is changing in Canada? Do like here it obviously is in a very drastic way. And
Yeah.
my hope is that Canada, being so rebellious against us, is now taking the alternate side by and large.
I mean, it is really interesting. Before like Trump actually came into office, we absolutely were on the same direction, like with like a populist, a politician, Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservatives, who is like set up to win our next election, which is in October this year. But like with the like tariff shit, like a new liberal leader came out of the woodwork. I mean, not like
Mm-hmm.
he's been around for a long time. He's actually been
Mm-hmm.
very successful across the world. There is a shift, and I'm very curious to see how it manifests here, because like we're so influenced by your culture, but also because we are so economically tied, like we are necessarily
Yeah,
like
right.
follow what happens in the States,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are different conversations happening up here that I haven't really heard before. But it's hard for me because I like grew up in Alberta, which is like the most conservative province. Like there's people who like want to separate from Alberta. Oh, the premier of Alberta, which is like the senators of our provinces.
Yeah, right.
So just after Trump announced the tariffs, our like all the premiers and Justin Trudeau all got together in like a show of solidarity against it, except for the premier from Alberta. And guess where she was? At fucking Mar-a-Lago, schmoozing with Trump. So
That's so strange and
so it really
weird.
depends where you are in Canada and who you're talking to. Like it's certainly not homogenous,
Yeah.
but like the general vibe, yeah, it's a different, interesting vibe. I don't love to see the like patriotism that's happening right now, because I just think that that's like
Mm-hmm.
the heart of a lot of these issues is like,
Mm-hmm.
national
Mm-hmm.
exceptionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's interesting to say to say the least. Yeah, I don't know. We have a election in October this year, so we'll see. We do have more safeguards legitimately for like reproductive health care and shit.
Yeah, we thought we did too.
That you don't know. I know. I mean,
You know?
we still do it. Like it might take a bit longer, but yeah, we
Mhm.
certainly are headed in the same direction, but we currently have more, than you do.
Well, that's good,
Yeah.
and that's encouraging. And I do plan on visiting you as
Yeah.
a expat. You know, if things get too heavy. Mexico also sounds chill too. I like that they have a Jewish president, a Jewish female president.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's
cool.
pretty sick.
Oh, that's pretty sick. Her
Some of the
attitude has been
coolest
fucking
people I've
wild.
ever met have been female rabbis. Like like that have just been so what's the actualized? in not a fake way, and not like in a real and totally hip, I don't know what it is that runs through this sect of, but
That's so
yeah.
interesting. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. Rabbi Sharon Brous is like one of who was, I think she was Biden and Obama's rabbi, for whatever that's worth. But she's out of LA, and she's like an incredible individual that really inspired me in a lot of very healthy ways. And
Cool.
yeah. Anyway, enough talk about rabbis.
No, I
didn't think I was
going to
get on
rabbis.
rabbis. I really don't want to talk about rabbis.
Okay, yeah, I'll follow your lead there.
Yeah. What else has been going on with you? I know that you don't have ear cans on, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah, you can see my ears.
Yeah,
you can see my ears now.
I do like your elf ears. You've got elf ears. That is cool.
Ears.
Yeah, they are elfy.
Yeah,
I really want,
now I want to get the prosthetic things. Like I should just like get those to make them full elf.
I knew a woman in the Lower East Side named Reverend Jen that always wore her ears, and she was the coolest. She ran this open mic night at a place called the Collective Unconscious. Actually, this is a great. May I?
Please.
Okay, this is a real story, and I'm going to tell it the best way that I can. In the meantime, I want everybody out there. Actually, you know what? Before I get into this story, maybe we should go to a music video and get the night cooking, because we're already a half hour into the show. Jesus Christ. Let's go to our good friend, Mr. Water Wet, and his partner in crime here, Monkey20. These two guys, they also did our intro music. So if you like our intro music, and I know I keep on repping them, they're really, really like two of my favorite musicians. I'm so lucky to have them for our intro music, and they keep on letting us use their beautiful artwork for music videos. So here is another track from Mr. Water Wet and Monkey20, and it's called 6 p.m. Breakfast. I really love that track. And look for them in LA. They're coming. Mr. Water Wet is coming to LA. I know Monkey20 is performing a lot in Philly right now. I'll get those dates, but you can check the links. It's in the description below. And yeah, check them out if you dig it. I see y'all in the chat. I'm sorry I can't do a lot of things at the same time, but I see you chatting, and I'm gonna try to talk to you guys as much as possible. Mallory, before we went away,
Yeah.
we were speaking about a very influential character to me back in the day in my early career in New York. Reverend Jin, who wore these little ears and ran a troll museum out of her apartment in the Lower East Side. She also had an open mic night at Collective Unconscious. My first experience at Collective Unconscious, incidentally, was a premiere for Mulholland Drive. I had just moved to New York City, and I was I remember it was so hot, and I hadn't gotten an air conditioner yet, and it was just so fucking hot in the city. My roommate didn't have an air conditioner, and I was like, I got to get out of this apartment. And I had only been there for like 3 days.
This was the Lower East, when you lived on the Lower East Side.
Lower East Side.
Likely in the same building that I lived in a few years later. Remember when we realized that? Sorry.
This would have been 161 Stanton Street.
Okay, I was on 123 Ludlow. So
wow! You're so close, fucking close.
Anyways, sorry.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting some feedback, Chris. So we wait, what?
Collective Unconscious.
Right. So I get out on the street, and I pass this place, and it's called Collective Unconscious, and I'm like, that's a hip name. And there's a chalkboard outside that says free preview of Mulholland Drive tonight. And so I'm like, okay, great. So I sit down in front of it, and 2 girls walk up to me, and they start hanging out with me, and I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I got 2 girls talking to me. I'm going to see a movie. New York is fantastic. Yeah. And so they open up the place. We go inside, and these girls, they know everybody that in there. And one of the girls still continues to sit next to me, even though she knows everybody. She like mingles and then sits next to me. And the movie starts. And it's very strange, and I'm getting really into it. And right as I'm getting into it, she starts barking like a dog, like legitimately, like ruff, 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 and like kind of nuzzling her shoulder into me. And I'm like, oh well, this is cool, this is pretty cool. So let's let me like kind of chill her down a little bit. But I'm into the zaniness of it, so I hey, cool out. I'm getting into this movie. And she chills out for a little bit, and then she gets down on the ground and starts biting the tongue of my shoes and like tearing it with her teeth. And I'm like, this is fun too, but
Can I
also
pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead.
I want some more like context. Like, how full is this? Like, are people noticing? How loud is she? Like, really get into it.
and Chris, thank you. Call 712-345-6648. Dial in. Give us a call. Let's hear your story. But this is a good one. So it's like theater seating, but it's all just like chairs that have been folded out. It's obviously like an art space. There's a movie screen that's like, maybe like 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and there's a curtain that lines like the space in between the movie screen and the ground, right? And while this movie is playing, I just think that it's just decoration. Okay. Maybe there's like 30 people in there. Okay. after I get her to get up off the ground and stop biting the tongue of my shoe, there's a giant man that walks out from underneath the curtain with a big dog on a chain and walks directly over to us and leans down and starts whispering to the girl. And then she's like, I'll be back. And then she goes away with him underneath the curtain. And I'm thinking to myself, that's fucking weird. What is that guy doing with a dog? And why did he bring the dog out just to talk to a girl and whisper to her? And then she seemed totally normal with it. She must know him. But now this is on my mind.
Well, I mean, it sounds like that's a whole part of the thing. What kind of dog was it?
A big dog.
Just a bit. Okay, big dog.
Yeah, like a big dog on a chain. Okay. And I don't know. I don't know. A very big dog. So I'm trying to watch the rest of this movie, and I'm thinking to myself, is this really happening? And also, is that girl still going to hang out with me after this movie? What do I do? So I'm not paying attention to the movie at all anymore. And eventually, so yada, 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 the movie ends. She still hasn't appeared. And I think I got to go look for this person. Maybe she's, what am I going to do about it? But maybe she's in danger. So I peek underneath the curtain and I see it's like just dark storage, but there's a closet area that I can see, or a door that I can see light coming out of. So I walk over to the door and I open up the door, and it's stairs that go down to a basement. And then down in that cellar, there is no way out, right? There's no window. We're below street level and there's no way out, right? There's no other way out of there. The giant man, the dog, the girl, not there. Okay. Years later, I start hanging out at this sister establishment called Surf Reality, where I met Reverend Jen, Faceboy, some other friends that we might have had in common, right? And we're sitting in there one night, and this girl walks in, the girl that disappeared. And she comes in and sits right next to me. This is a year or two, maybe 2 years later. And I say, hey, I know you. Didn't I meet you at a David Lynch movie? And she said, yeah, I had to take care of some stuff. It's good to see you again. Craig, right?
Wow.
Yeah. She got sent away again too. She was definitely crazy. Yeah, she was definitely crazy. But also, so here's to explain the story. And I know there's no like great punchline. I should have worked on it. But I always thought that maybe I was being set up. Like, what are the chances at a free movie preview? And I'm the asshole that sat down in front of this chalkboard and just waited because I had nothing else going on. I remember leaving the place that night and calling my friend in my hometown and saying, like, telling him what happened. And his idea was maybe it's like a promo that they're doing for the movie. And David, it's all a setup, and they filmed you being punked, right? But none of that has ever come to light. And that doesn't seem very Lynchian. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's my Reverend Jen story. It's not really a Reverend Jen story.
No, but it was a great offshoot.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear your crazy stories. Give us a call. 712-345-6648. If you're calling from a payphone, you can dial our toll-free number. We don't want you to have to pay. Quarters are very valuable nowadays, especially if you do your laundry in a laundromat. And also, how annoying. $2 to do a load of laundry and then $2 to dry your load of laundry.
Yeah. Entirely too much. Oh gosh, and the Canadian dollar right now is so bad. So we especially don't want, to make people pay more. Yeah. Another function of the bullshit that's going on. So yeah, you could call toll free at 1-866-345-6648.
Oh yeah, it's Canada, right? If you're in Canada, that's why we got that number. Nobody uses payphones.
Or Mexico. Yeah, it works.
Or
in other
Mexico.
places, too.
Yeah. Any place in North America.
I didn't want to lose because I just wanted to remember how we got into Reverend Jen, and it was the ear thing. And there is this fact I just learned that I just saw, Craig. You can bend your ears. Apparently, not everybody's ears bend or are flexible.
Oh, really?
Apparently, that's not a thing. Yeah.
What?
Mine do. But
I
yeah,
think I would look cute with.
Apparently, not everybody can just like bend their ears.
I don't know. What do you think? I don't
So
know.
hey, please, if you're watching,
I have crunchy
actually
ears. Did you hear them
would
crunch?
love to hear from somebody. If your ears don't bend, yeah. Why did I have no idea what like algorithm I was on that I came across that little science lesson, but I did just learn that.
I think that's incredible. I got this stupid thing to help me. I was watching some of our episodes back and I saw how stupid I look vaping. And
Wait. Sorry. Why do you think you look stupid? Is it the vape itself?
yeah, it's just so stupid to hold a
Okay.
vape.
Okay.
You know, it's way cooler to smoke cigarettes. But
It does look cooler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When I stopped smoking cigarettes, I felt like I lost a big part of my identity. I know that sounds sad, but I don't feel. I don't mean it like that. But it was just like part of my image. You know, every photo booth that I got into, I put a cigarette in my mouth. Every time that I took a photo, you know, I was.
Did you have to like learn how to do like what to do with your hands?
Dude, I still look at me. Look at me. I'm a fucking mess.
It all went downhill after that.
Asked and answered, Your Honor. I mean, Jesus Christ, who are we dealing with here? These pins have been in literally 625,000 different places on my table today. Oh yeah.
So you got a new vape thing?
No, this isn't a vape. It's oils. It's natural oils, licorice and maple, and you just pull on it, and it's supposed to. Yeah, it's not even that much flavor. It's just air. It's just something to.
So
it's just something. Just something to grab onto. So I'm doing this, and if you see me vape, make fun of me because Anyway.
Okay. I typically don't support making fun of people, but you're asking for it. So
I'm asking for it.
Who
I
am
want
I
it.
to
I want to
stop
be a
people?
better person.
Hey,
I'm trying to be a better person. Yeah.
For the vaping.
Call in, make fun of Greg. All right. You know what? I really want some callers. I know you guys are listening. I know you guys are watching. I want to hear your stories. And so I'm going to give you a little bit, it always takes a little bit of time to get associated. We're here to hear you out. We're not here to judge you. And what we need is maybe to go to another video, get you guys a little time so that you can give us a call. Get ready for it. I'm ready to listen. But in the meantime, I have a very special little video, Mallory, that I'd like to play tonight.
Okay.
Also around that time that I met that girl at that movie, well, I had just moved in with a guy who just very, very quickly became my hero, my mentor, my guy. And his name is Carlucci Bencivenga. I'm sure over the years to come, I'm going to tell a lot of different stories about him. And this is a great place to kind of establish him in my life. And so this is a little video that he did with another great friend of mine, Christopher, who directed this under the name Dutch Masterson. And so with no further ado, this is Conjuring Elf. Nope, this is us.
Have a go then. Go on, kick his feet in. Let him get up.
And that was my hero and mentor. Rest in peace, Carlucci. And thank you so much, Dutch Masterson, my good friend Chris, who hopefully will be sharing a lot of his short films on our show. And you can find all of his stuff at Wasted Talent USA on Instagram, spelled exactly like I said it. That was really good to see that movie. And I
was so
remember a lot of those props were like all over our apartment together. And that big poster in the back, that was those were x-rays of his teeth and all of the teeth that they needed to take out.
So cool.
It's
Yeah, that was really cool.
I'm glad.
Thanks
I'm
for
really
sharing
glad.
that. I
Yeah,
hadn't seen it yet. I really enjoyed that.
I'm really glad to show it. And,
Yeah.
yeah, such a great influence on my life. Check out his work, Carlucci Bencivenga. He also went by Elf NPC. Was his graffiti tag.
All signs are pointing towards me getting I need to get these elf things. The beginning conversation.
Oh my God, Elf.
What?
Elf. Elf. We keep on going through elves. I didn't even make that connection.
Oh
wow.
yeah, I just did. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
No, it's very unintentional. So yeah.
Isn't that funny? Because last week we had this very much we very much had this like art role-playing game situation going.
That kind of thing.
And
theme
this
today
I guess
elves?
might be elves.
That's a through line. Yeah.
Let's see. And I think that we have a caller. So Chris, why don't you put that caller on the line? I'm sorry. Okay, well, we have a signal, and I see the signal. Anyway, so yeah, Mallory.
I love this team. No, that's like elf. Yeah. Okay. So I do think I really need to get those like elf prosthetic things. Hey, if anybody in the chat or anybody out there like knows where to get them,
yeah, good
please
ones.
Tell me.
I wonder what often when I'm looking up something on Amazon, I go highest price first and then lowest price first. I just want to see the diversity that's going on, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what the best elf ears are.
Go for. Like, what do they go for?
Like, it's got to be some movie magic stuff, right?
For sure. Yeah.
I know a woman out of Kansas City that does amazing prosthetics, like an incredible person. Yeah. And but yeah, I wonder what
I feel like this is also the solution to like dealing with this moment is like, I'm seeing people on TikTok. There's people who are like painting their whole bodies in a color and living and like going out in the world that way. Like, let's just lean into fucking
paint with paint.
Yeah, like body paint. Like there's like a
they just do that every day.
Yeah. It's fucking cool. It's so cool. And there's people who just like wear the elf ears every day. I'm like, yeah, why? I love that development in style. Anyways, I think.
Oh yeah, we have a yeah. Thanks, Chris. Hey, caller. Do you hear us?
Hey,
why is
I'm
like I forgot what I'm doing here. Caller, are you on the line?
I'm here. I'm saying things.
Oh hi. Oh hi, caller. I hear you.
Oh hello.
I hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the show, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Neil, and I'm calling from Mammoth Lakes, California.
Oh, Neil.
Oh, Neil.
It's so good to hear your voice.
It's so nice to hear your voice.
It's a me. I miss you guys.
We manifested you on Thursday.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, that was fun. I pulled you out of my pocket randomly.
And I had literally just said, I wish Neil was here. Magic. Anyways, hi, Neil. It's so nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, for everybody listening at home, Neil is a friend of the show. We've known Neil for quite some time, and they also helped us on our very first episode in Joshua Tree. They drove down to help us. So, Neil, longtime listener and first-time caller, what's on your mind tonight?
I'm moving into a new place. We got a giant 75-gallon fish tank in there, and I'm playing like one of my new favorite video games has come out, Civilization, and
I love Civilization.
got a lot going on, but life's all doing pretty good. I'm
that's
rolling
pretty
out my
good.
art
Sounds
a whole lot
very-
more. And
New video game, new
trying to
pad.
sell some
How great
stickers.
was it to set up your like new playing center in your house and like sit down with it like the first time it's been organized the first time, and now you've got a brand new video game. It's like a whole new life.
Oh, it's glorious. It was perfect timing.
Amazing.
I finally feel like I have
Amazing.
space for all the things that I have been collecting. Like it feels like that was meant to be in this space, and the other space was just so cramped and cluttered and just a little bit off.
Well, that's great.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. What are some of your collections?
Yeah.
I'm like music collection, stereo. Turns out CD players are crazy expensive right now, I guess, because
really
people don't make them anymore. Yeah, it's like $200 for a CD player.
Yeah, I guess that's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like any electronics
for a boombox or something.
Oh, right. I've been recently looking at cassette decks because I want some different varieties of cassette decks, not just one on my hi-fi, but like one that I can carry around and like make recordings of.
Yeah.
And
I have one of those.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you have an old one or a new one?
No. Well, a few years ago, my my BFF Lala and I, when we were living together, because we used to share,
Shout out Lala.
Shout out Lala. We lived together in our early 20s, and we like merged our CD collection. And so when I moved back to Vancouver and we moved back in together, we like brought out our merged collection. We were like, we don't have a CD player, so we bought like just like a cheap little boombox, with like a tape player and like a CD thing on the top with a handle. Yeah. So I do have that. I have.
No, I was talking about one of like it has a shoulder harness. And you like wear it like a bag. And they're only like $30. Anyways, I didn't mean to get you off of your collection. Neil. What are some of your other collections?
Yeah,
also,
I used to have
just so you know,
like
before
yellow Walkman was my first music player, and a yellow cassette radio.
Yellow Walkmans. I never had one of the yellow Walkmans because my parents, they thought that it was a ripoff to buy name brand stuff. So I never got one of the yellow ones, even though everybody else on my bus had a yellow one. I had a black one. But mine, the electronic brand was called Craig. So I felt very cool about having a Craig cassette player.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That I could listen to my B-52s tape on.
Wait, I'm just now remembering how, like, I don't want to give away too many details about you, Neil, but like you're significantly younger than us, and your first thing was a Walkman.
Yeah, so while everybody else had actual CD players and like maybe the first iPod, I had a cassette Walkman.
Cool.
Sick.
And
what was your first tape? What was your
fun.
first tape that you were rocking regularly?
Ooh. I remember listening to a lot of Everyone Was Kung Fu Fighting. I don't remember what that was on, but I had that on cassette.
Wow. What a weird that's I mean, mine was weird. Mine was B-52s and this song called Neil, that this little fuse that's chasing us around the bend here. This is our timer to let us know that it's about a minute to midnight. So yeah, we're going to be going to a break in about 30 seconds, right? And but I want to come back with you, Neil. You just called it kind of an opportune time, but we're here. Okay. We're ready. Just come in, sit down on the couch,
enough time to smoke,
and we're gonna what I'd like you to do, and what I'd like you to do at home, is to smoke your favorite substance right now. Y'all know I wish I was smoking cigarettes. Do whatever you'd like, but do it for me. And I think I think that would be nice. And then when we get back, we're going to talk about some tapes. And while we're away, I got nothing.
Your brain is a marvel of technology. But when you take drugs, you alter your brain. You change thinking patterns. You distort perception. And eventually, your brain just won't be the same. Think about it while you still can.
Dribble it! Dribble it! Frank, dribble it! Frank, shoot!
Is this some kind of Canadian joke, sir? I mean, I know you're the instructor and everything, but when we can't carry the ball, how can we get a decent shot at the peach basket?
All right. Maybe we can allow a carry of a couple of steps.
And Mr. Naismith, sir, it sure slows things down having to climb up here every time.
Well, then let's cut the bottom out of the basket.
Ah, but I need these baskets back.
100 years after James Naismith from Almont, Ontario invented it, basketball was being played by hundreds of millions of people around the world.
I am Ashtar, a robot from Planet Danger. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
Here we are.
And here we are.
You know, I think that we should make basketball players wear those outfits again.
I think that that's a great idea. It's
Right?
those are actually much better outfits, and maybe I would have been inclined to play sports if they weren't so
That's a good point.
dorky looking costumes. You know,
Right?
that was a big problem for me. Neil,
We're still on air
Huh?
with
Who,
Neil.
what?
Hey, Neil.
we're still on
Thanks.
air with Neil. You still there, Neil?
I'm still here. I just
Thanks
I
for
have
sticking around.
Okay, great.
very little opinion on basketball uniforms.
You know what?
haven't
Actually,
thought
that
of
was a test.
You okay there, Craig?
Yeah, I choked on something.
Oh dear.
Anyway, Neil, we were discussing tapes, and you were discussing that maybe your
Tape.
first tape was kung fu fighting. My inclination that it was probably on like an Ace Ventura soundtrack or something like that.
Oh.
Possibly. I remember a lot of bird sounds on tapes. I'm trying to remember what tapes I had.
Wait,
thought
that
about
Bird
this
just
in a
sounds
long
on
time.
tape.
wait, that just reminded me that
I wonder where they all went.
I had a whole Christmas album tape on tape that was cats meowing Christmas songs. Did anybody else have
Oh my
this?
gosh.
What?
I wish.
Yeah. That was like a big thing in the 90s, I think. Yeah, and I had that on tape.
Did anybody else have that? Please put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I would love to see.
To me,
I
it
would
was
love
like,
to
like
see
everybody
this.
knows about it, but yeah, no. I just have a weird obsession with cats. And I really enjoyed listening to it. I feel like I could sing it. I'm not going to, but like every cat had a
Wait, did
different
you just say
meow.
that you felt like that you could sing it?
Yeah.
They were
yeah.
cats, right?
Yeah, they took like meows at different pitches and tones and stuff, and then
No, I mean I know how cats sing.
Oh,
Sure,
okay.
yeah,
Sorry,
I know
I was
how
just gonna
cats
explain
sing.
it to you. Yeah.
You know, oh, you were explaining it for the people at home. Fair.
Oh wait, Pippa also did, and Diana. Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Oh, of course, Pippa. Of course.
Oh my God, everybody.
I'm so glad I'm not alone. Okay, what other tapes, Neil? Or like what other collections do you have going
Talk
on?
amongst yourselves.
Yeah. We'll let Craig cough.
Basically it's my technology collection, my camera gear.
Oh yeah, oh right. Oh yeah, for those out there, Neil is an amazing photographer and you should follow them on Instagram. Oh my gosh, I wish I had some of the stickers of yours on me right now. I don't. They have beautiful photos, fun stickers.
People will just
Oh,
have
yeah.
to go to neildoesart.com to see the stickers. I'm professional.
go.
I did that.
Hell yeah. neildoesart.com, everybody.
And
How's the
yeah,
move? How's the move going? How like it like just happened, so imagine you're not fully settled yet, right?
Yeah, we're still it's kind of nice to move in slow. We kind of jumped in on this place rather fast because living around a ski resort, it's hard to find places. So we found a good place. We moved fast, and we're still paying for rent at the other place. So we
The other
have
place.
like this full month to move
Overlap.
stuff over, and we were able to move in like a week early. So
Oh, I
we
love
were
that
able
for
to kind
you.
of we were kind of able to slowly get like some clothes in here, had a friend help out with the bed, and then we got Sam's books in here. Speaking of collections, Sam has a fantastic book collection. And then
Of course they do.
all the electronic stuff. And that came in shortly after because I got to have the music, and it's so exciting to finally like listen to records the way they're meant to be played. Now I'm realizing I'm missing a cassette player, and also where are all my cassettes? But that's for another time.
That's for the
And
future.
yeah. So it's all coming together. We just the fish tank was the last biggest thing that I needed help with and couldn't do on my own, and that's finally in. And so filling it up with water tomorrow and getting it cycled so that the fishies are happy
So what
and
are your
healthy.
fish
And
doing in the meantime?
they are in little cups. So I got little paint cups, and I caught them all. There's like 14 little Molly babies, and I've got 4 of them in a little cup, and the adult in one cup, and a Placo in another big cup. And they're doing all right. They're hanging out. They freak out a little bit when I look over them like a giant monster.
Well, I mean, fair. It would be a little horrifying. Also, like moving is a lot for everybody. I'm sure they're being upended too. They're probably feeling the change of scenery.
What is a
It's a whole lot of
75-gallon
change.
tank? A big tank?
Sounds big.
A big tank?
I honestly, I'm trying to picture
I have
what a
one big
75-gallon
It's
tank
about
looks
3
like.
feet long and 2 feet tall and probably like 1 foot in depth. And then I've got a little 5-gallon tank that a beta sits in, and then a 20-gallon tank because fish tanks.
So, but what does the 75-pound or 75-gallon tank looks like? Like how big is it compared to a couch?
It's
I
about.
feel like I know what a
it
couch
would
looks like.
solidly fit behind one seat of the couch. So if you took like the back of the
Whoa.
couch,
So like
that's
a
basically it.
normal that's a normal size. Like you're not putting a shark in there.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I could fit a small
What?
toddler in there.
You can put a shark. Sharks don't fit behind cushions.
There's a smaller kind of shark. He only gets about like 8 inches, and he could go in here. But this is going to be fresh
What
water.
kind of shark is that?
I don't know. It's at the pet store.
The sharks at the pet store.
The one at the pet store. Go to your pet store, ask for a shark. They'll tell you.
Okay.
That's delightful.
So what's your favorite type of fish that you've got going on in that fish tank of yours?
It's hard to pick a favorite. Placos are probably my all-time favorite because I just love them. They're really cool.
Wait, the
And
what?
The little mouths that go all suctiony. Placostomuses.
The
Placostomuses.
Pecos. That's
Producer Chris, can you find an image of this and put it up on the? Yeah, good. It's okay. Neil, continue and describe your relationship with this fish and why you love it so much.
I've had it. It was one of the first fish I had when I had a tank as a childhood, and
this exact
they just
fish
helped clean the tank. Yeah, the same kind.
But not the same fish.
Not the exact fish.
Not the exact same fish. No, these guys only live about.
How long?
They live about 8 years if you take care of them right.
Okay.
The fish
Wow,
in Florida, those are long gone.
Yeah, that's more than a hamster.
Yeah, fish will live a while.
Huh.
Wow. Yeah, I think that I saw a video that they found like 100-year-old lobster or something like that.
Lobsters
Is that possible?
I don't know.
I believe so. Octopuses live for a really long time too.
I don't eat octopuses anymore. Oh, I'm familiar with those fish. They're in all of the fish tank because they eat up all the garbage.
Fancy fish.
Yeah.
No, but they just suck on the side.
So it's like they help.
Yeah,
clean.
yeah, they keep it really nice and
Every
clean.
fish tank needs them.
That's
Listen,
great.
listen. The home fish tank business has kept these fish alive for as long as I've been alive.
Listen.
Like honestly, where are they finding glass tanks to eat off of in the wild? There's no greater man-fish relationship than that of the. Why do I want to call it an Oscar the Grouch fish?
Because it kind of sounds like that.
Is it? Does it?
There's a similar fish called an Oscar that's a little bit more fish-like, but is also very much a bottom feeder.
Oh,
but it has a
that's
similar
what I
face.
was
There you go.
talking.
Maybe that's what you were thinking of. Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. Do you name your fish, Neil?
I name a lot of the fish. Like the betas are
Okay.
easy to name. The
Okay.
14 mollies are kind of difficult to tell apart, so they don't.
I
really
want
get
you. I want you to give me all of the names of all of your fish, as quickly as you can. Like they're your children.
Zippy is the baby Placo, and then there's Glen Placo, if you know from skiing, Glen Plake, and then there's
I
the
don't,
Cookie
but I'm
Monster,
gonna ask about
Molly,
that.
and then there's Angel, the beta fish, and
That's fair.
that's all
Beta.
the names.
I can't believe I just did that.
Correct.
I can't believe I just did that.
You want to follow up on that?
No,
Call up?
no. Honestly, I've been getting a weird algorithm, man, and it's making my brain weird.
Yeah.
Do you ever experience that, Neil?
What?
Where you're like you get sucked in to like such garbage, and you know that it's garbage, and you're conscious of it being garbage, and you're not entertained by it, and then you keep coming back for it. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, let me check on the garbage. I don't need the garbage, but I just want to see the garbage. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of. I enjoy a little bit of garbage here and there, but I think it's intentional. I never find myself like unintentionally being like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why do I keep looking at this garbage? Sometimes I'm like, hey, I need a little garbage now and then.
That sounds very healthy.
You're very actualized
It
in
sounds
that way.
like a
Is
healthy
that
way
the
to
second time
engage
that
with
I've used
garbage.
actualized tonight?
I think so.
What? I won! I won!
And we're celebrating it.
It's over. It's over.
Craig is becoming actualized.
Apparently, with
Right
a little
before
help
our
from my
eyes.
friends.
Right
With a little
before our
help from my
eyes.
friends. So, Neil, I don't know. Is there anything in particular that you called in and you wanted to like get into, that you wanted to scream out to the audience of hundreds of people, hundreds of people, and maybe, who knows, in perpetuity. That's the exciting thing about this stuff. It lasts forever. So
I think I said my piece. I wanted to talk to my friends because I haven't talked to my friends in a little bit, and so this was a whole lot of fun. And I wanted to shout out to my art, and so I did that and
Hell yeah.
talk about my life a little bit, and I'm pretty satisfied.
You know what, Neil? We are too.
Yeah,
All
Neil.
right.
I'm very happy that you're always part of the Midnight Across America family. And yes, please, everybody, go to Neil Does Art. It's a website.com, and flash that, Chris, above my head again. Do you still have it there? Anyway, go to that.
Really, wouldn't be here without you. Again, your
We wouldn't be
role
here
in
without
our
you.
very
Yeah.
first show. Oh my God, we would have just the two of us without anybody else. That first show.
It was
Oh
so
my
much
God.
fun.
Oh my God.
I loved it.
It was one of the best moments of my life was
Yeah.
doing that. And it was
And then-
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get verklempt.
You guys are amazing. I love you.
I love you
you,
too, Neil.
Neil.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for calling. See you around.
Well, that's a great call. That was a great call. That's a great call to kick off the show. And this show goes so fast.
So fast.
I feel like I
now.
don't have the time.
The time.
We should get through some of these
Okay.
these things. It's already 10:30. You know what? Let me say this.
Okay.
There's a band. There's a band. There is a band of folks that I have worked with in the most intimate of ways, creatively and artistically, and some of the greatest guys that I know. Anyway, the last I saw them, they made this band, and this band has been on television. They were like on some Battle of the Bands thing. It's incredible how they've like disappeared and did this marvelous thing together, Mallory. So I have brought a video with their blessing for our viewing pleasure tonight. It's the Night Spins, and it's Bad Drunk.
Gonna pick the pieces off the ground, anything we can salvage now. Left my Sunday shoes upstairs and I won't get up. If we don't hurry, we'll miss the boat. Just another drunk with all that hope. I don't even drink that much, but I fill my cup. Pour me one more shot to go, maybe just another for the road. Wait a minute. Where in hell did time just go? You've been holding me tight, but you're all alone. Fell asleep in the hallway 'cause I locked me out. Searching for the will to live. Something down south's about to give. Pack your bags and said goodbye as I beg you to stay. Told you I would quit this shit. Drink another bottle before you split. A broken glass. My goddamn hands are full of blood. Another fight. This goddamn shit's about to blow. You've been holding me tight, but you're all alone. You're all alone. what I meant that night. Cause I'm just a drunk piece of shit. I want you here, I wanna hold you tight, and I just wanna get some sleep. But you're all alone.
Go. I'm really digging it. I'm really digging this stuff. And I hope you are too. Check them out on Spotify. Night Spins. They've also got a YouTube channel. They've got new music coming out in the spring. And if you're in New York, they've got a show this February 28th at Baker Falls. So if you're in New York, get some tickets and go see them. I love them. And I don't want to make promises, Mallory. But I think I did it well that time. I think that we're going to have them perform live on our show in the coming weeks. So I'm really, really excited about that, and for you guys to all get to know them and be part of this community. Man, Neil is a great, I think, icon of how great our community is. You know, like we had this crazy idea to do this show, and we told some of our friends that we were going to do it. Neil, one of them. And then when we were up a creek, so to speak, that was good. Come on.
You're on fire.
Come on. Neil came to the rescue.
They just
right away.
up.
They just showed up right away, and I'll always be thankful.
None
for
of
that.
us had met in person before. Like,
Never. We had never met them.
Like to make
no,
like,
they drove 6 hours in the night.
You and I had just met, and like Neil, we hadn't met Neil, and like they drove. Yeah, 6 hours.
Incredible.
In the night. Oh.
Incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible.
That's like radical. Actually, now that I want to like sit with that for a second because
proceed.
Like, well, I don't know. I grew up lonely as fuck. Found it so hard to find my people, and like once I met, you and Neil, and we started this, it just the way that we've built friendship and relationship in this community actually feels quite like radical. Not like, I mean, it is like rad in like a Ninja Turtle way, but like radical in the way that like people build relationship, I feel very proud of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm really proud of us too.
Yeah.
And it is radical.
Yeah.
Because if not us, then who?
Yeah.
I need to collect my people right now.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the spaces that I'm familiar with, where I used to go to find my people, man, it ain't my people there.
Yeah.
It's not my people there. They look like us.
Mm.
They sound like us, but they're not like us. And what? Okay, so then let's unpack this. What are our people? You know, that's an interesting thing. Please, by the way, please call in. Call in 712-345-6648. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry.
For me,
Who are people?
Well, I mean, it's a really interesting thing, you know, because when we started, I know like a big part of the concept of this, I think for you especially, Craig, was like the outsiders, the freaks, the weirdos, which, you know, historically, like we would indicate that to each other through how we dressed and how we spoke, you know. But now that like we live in a very global world and everybody has access to these niches and can like co-opt them, like how do you find your people if like beyond just like how they look and the language they're using? And for me, again, what worked with you and Neil and, you know, Chris and Brody and Pippa and Blaine, you know, all the people that have helped is like there's like a yearning for like authenticity and curiosity that I think is a connecting thing. And like a willingness to like do that together, you know, or like try and do that together.
Will you unpack that as an example?
Okay.
I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but it would be helpful to,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I remember like the first time, you know, I met Neil and you and, you know, everybody in this chat, like was like people doing like puzzles, and it was a bunch of like introverts who, you know, couldn't find their way outside, you know, like couldn't find their people outside of this group, you know.
Well, and it was all founded, I remember, during COVID.
Yeah.
When we were all stuck inside.
Yep.
And then you start reaching out. You start reaching out to people that aren't good at dinner parties, that aren't good to get drunk with, that don't have the drugs, you know, whatever it is that brings you to your people, right? It gets real raw and the desperation, and where like the internet is your lifeline, right?
Totally. And I think for me, previous to this community and like COVID times, the internet was a way for me to find like other like queer people or non-binary people, you know, like a specific kind of like identity marker. But like just because you call yourself that doesn't mean I'm gonna get along with you. And as you were saying, Craig, like often in those, you know, kind of category spaces, they can feel like too rigid and rule based and like performative and stuff. And I think that's what I'm saying is like the pull to like authenticity, and I think a willingness to like be together and like, you know, it's like a late night chat, you know, so everybody's just sort of like themselves out loud more, you know. I think that's a thing that I've felt with like you and Neil and, you know, all these people are talking about, was like this willingness to just like be who you are with as little of facade as possible.
You know what? Blaine is seconding exactly that motion in the chat right now. And and I agree wholeheartedly. Somebody once said to me, and they weren't saying it as a compliment, by the way. They were like, you are desperately yourself. you know, like
I love that.
And some people are very complimentary about this as well, but it just is. It just is, right? I just can't be any other way, not for my own sake even. And we find each other, like we always find each other. I was on
like
Go ahead.
that we found each other. No, I mean, I want to hear that, but yeah, the finding each other is the like magical part to me. You know, like
Mhm.
where I grew up, you know, like we shouldn't have found each other. You know, like no one would have expected us
no
to
way.
find each other. You know,
No way.
given like where I grew up, how I grew up, where you grew up, you know, how you grew up. And I mean that's the beauty of the internet and technology. You know, it was like the
Isn't
like
that interesting?
the doors it opened for me specifically
Yeah,
to I mean, I
right.
think for a lot of people, but I'm just thinking, you know, because we've talked
Mhm.
a lot about how we grew up and that like even when I tried to find like the weirdos and freaks, like my reality was so limited how I grew up that like even when I found the outsiders, it didn't feel like my people. But we do find each other eventually.
We always do. We always do. Oh, this is Blaine's comment.
Yeah.
Great job, Chris.
Chris.
Yeah,
Aw.
you're really
Fucking
rocking my
producer
world tonight, Chris. And also I want to give a shout out to our graphics person, Brody.
Brody.
He does an amazing job, and he and Pippa on the phones. Call Pippa, guys. I like really. Call us, please.
Just call us.
Yeah, we really need a call. We really need a call.
Diana just said age range amazing, and that reminded me again of like this, you know, the hodgepodge group of folks that I like call our community, and you know, I'm a part of it. For me, that's like the epitome of chosen family, because it's like, you know, there's some people where I'm like, that's just that person, or that's it, you know, it's like sort of how family was always described to me growing up, of like, you know, it's a bunch of ages and different kinds of people coming together, but my family never felt like that. But I think that's what like, you know,
I
where it's
see
like,
what
you
you're
know, I
saying.
don't, you know, it's like it's fine that I
Yeah.
don't get along with absolutely everybody. Actually, it's necessary to be in community with people that like you don't see eye to eye with all the time, but that like we're all like there and willing to be together, you know? And
I
like
do see
listen to
what
each
you're
other and see each other as much as possible.
And we don't have to like fit in with each other. You're
Yeah,
just
exactly.
there because you're family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really have that type of obligation as a child, and also
Yeah.
I kind of liked all of my family. So, you know, it didn't feel obligatory.
Yeah.
Also a very small family. But you know, diaspora.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, we find each other. We find each other. And this is one of those places. And incidentally, this is a great segue. Incidentally, you know, not only do we have night spins coming up in the near future, we also have another guest that I am just insanely excited about coming up. And actually, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. What is that date again?
February 22nd.
February 22nd. That's when we're going to be back with you live on that Saturday at midnight across America. And we're going to have a very special guest named Michael Lucid. And if you're not familiar with who Michael Lucid is, well, Michael Lucid is the director of one of my favorite documentaries of all time, and it's called Dirty Girls. Dirty Girls is a documentary that he made when he was in high school about other girls that were like freshmen at his high school.
Yeah,
right?
they were like grade 8 and 9, and he was a senior. Yeah.
And they were like revolutionary riot girls. Okay. And they were making zines. And I'm telling you, these were, if not me, they were my best friends in high school and 8th grade. And watching this movie was really like watching my high school experience. So I'm wondering if anybody else out there is feeling that. If you are, get excited too. Because coming up, again, February 22nd, we've got Michael Lucid, the director Dirty Girls, and to get you a little taste of it, and go watch the full thing on YouTube. I think it's available on his page, Michael Lucid, and we've got the link below. But go to and watch Dirty Girls, and then call in with all of your questions. So in the meantime, Chris, why don't we give him a little preview of what I'm talking about?
For that. Do you consider yourself a riot girl? Yeah, I do. Because I think that a riot girl is someone who doesn't believe in the way that women are treated in the society right now. And not only women though, it also has to do with different, like, any prejudice, like racism or sexism, or even against gays and bisexuals. And it's just, we really hate that kind of stuff, and we're willing to stand up against it and state our opinions, and not just like hide behind barriers like a lot of women do. A lot of women like get all this crap from all these guys and they just turn around and walk away, but we're the type of people that aren't going to turn around and walk away. We're going to walk up to them and confront them and tell them what they're doing wrong, and just let them know so it gets through their mind. But I remember like last year you guys would wear lipstick all over your face.
What? I never wear lipstick all over my face.
Well, and like,
did that for just because, like,
to
prove
felt
like it. Because so many people, like, would get mad. She was kind of, like, pissing them off. But because they were like, oh, my God, look at that lipstick. And so it's kind of like, yeah, look at it. Okay.
No.
I went to camp, and the first day I was at camp, everyone said, I mean, I didn't even know these people, and the first day they were like, that's the girl who didn't take a shower since Kirk Cobain died. And, I mean, that would be like a long time not taking a shower.
I think the bottom line is probably just attention most of all.
Attention, and something's wrong inside the home, and they need some sort of attention from their parents to act totally different and totally, like, out of whack.
It's just a rebellion thing, like.
That's the easiest thing to do, to rebel. And especially if you come from a wealthy family, the first thing that people expect from you is to be clean and to look nice. So that's the first thing that they're going against.
My housekeeper gave me this shirt. My shrink gave me this shirt. It was basically like after my parents kind of separated, and I was just like,
that had a lot to do with it. We were just the most perfect family. We were the ideal family that anyone could be. And then when they separated,
except for we didn't go golfing on Sundays.
For me, I didn't notice it. Amber noticed it a little bit more before we actually had the big like fight conversation or whatever. But it was such a shock to me that I kind of like freaked out.
I like thought, fine. I don't care. I mean, I was like, not that they separated, but I was just like, I'm not gonna do anything for anybody anymore. I mean, I'm not gonna look good for anybody, because, I mean, why should I? Then I started getting clear in my mind. I mean, I can be whoever I want to be. I don't have to dress for anyone. I don't have to look for anyone. I don't have to do anything for anyone.
That's
I can
a
just
big part of it.
be myself.
So I hope you all will see there just isn't a place here for me. Look around and feel like somebody must be fucking with me. I just can't.
This is our zine.
Yeah, this is like a women's rights magazine, and like
it's just basically about riot girls and our opinions on how women are treated in the society.
There was this guy who was reading it, and like he was reading some like the personal stuff, and he was like laughing and saying it was like all bullshit, and I was like, no, it's not, and he was like, no, it's not.
Basically, we're against most of the ways that like men treat us and how they're not even aware that what women are feeling, and also with the fact that a lot of women are in competition with each other when they should be like together,
And it's really like, it's not funny. This is like not a joke.
Now this is an example to me of dime store feminism. Because I mean, look at it. It's like all this like stuff like, oh, I have a right to be mad. I have a right to be sad. I have a right to be disgusted. You don't have a right to tell me to shut up. So don't even try. Like, what is that? Like, is that supposed to be like, oh, I'm all hard and I'm a woman and I know how to fight people?
Oh my God.
I know.
I haven't seen this. I haven't seen it either. Okay.
They haven't seen it, so let them see it. Look at it. Isn't it like ridiculous?
Wow.
So don't even try. So you don't have to write this on me not to try.
Ew!
And
Now I realize you killed yourself. I feel your plastic surgery. Bleaching beautiful hair and perfect figure. I thought nobody could be as beautiful as you. Go ahead, cover up yourself. Your true beauty. Go ahead, throw yourself away. I wish I never fell for you. Doll parts? For your doll parts.
Like pictures of women like exploiting themselves and then like getting really mad at it. It's like it's nothing new. It's like it's just nothing new, and I don't know why it's such a big deal.
It's not creative at all. It's like
guys, they're 13 years old.
I know, but
I said I think it's brilliant. This is absolutely wonderful. It's like this Marxist critique of the world.
How can that be a Marxist critique of the world?
Because I truly believe that capitalism is the most evil force in the world. That's a perfect statement right there.
Yeah, hello. I'm calling from sunny Los Angeles. Seems like got a couple of very intelligent people on this show, and I sort of like to talk about democracy and whether or not you believe it's a real thing, if it works, or if it's just something that's kind of shoved down our throats from the elite or controlling or ruling class. To kind of imagine us being participants in this very nice chessboard they've constructed. And I think the left in America, and definitely Canada as well, have kind of fashioned themselves as these reactionaries to whatever the right might do, calling it undemocratic, have to maintain the international rules-based order. And at the same time, they kill children in the Middle East and kind of suggest, push, force 18-year-old young kids in the Ukraine to sign up to go get slaughtered in the Donbass. So I'm just curious what you guys think about that. Do you think democracy is a real thing, or do you think it's kind of a farce or a facade that the elite ruling class uses to coerce and trick us in the working, lower, middle class poor? Cheers!
Well, first of all, thank you for calling. You can always call all week long. Give us a call at 712-345-6648. Pippa will not be there, but you can leave a voicemail for us and we'll play it on air and we'll think about it. You know, I feel nervous talking about this boldly on in public because I'm not as educated as I'd like to be to discuss the thing you know, with as much certainty as possible. But if I'm allowed to just kind of feel it out in front of everybody, you know, forever.
We're learning in front of people always.
And you know what? I could be wrong. And please tell me whatever you guys think. And please call in if you have an opinion about this. Toll free, 866-345-6648. It feels like democracy is only as good as its people. Right? And so if everybody is a decent person, right? And is educated and is given the same chance, right? Well, then, yeah, in theory, it sounds pretty good. Everybody has a say. But as I've experienced on a like very micro level, this is not societal. Well, I guess it is in a way, but listen, I'm not trying to like govern, but I have noticed that like the democracy of a platform, present party included, I don't know how thoughtful anybody is with what they put out, you know, and if they are, like, what my point is that people get really confused all of a sudden, you know, with everything, all of the options, and they start making really bad decisions. And if you've got bad decision makers, then how can you have a good democracy? Ugh, it feels weird engaging with this. What do you think?
No,
What do you
I
think,
mean,
Mallory?
I love that start. And it's interesting to me. I think a lot about the differences between how I was raised in Canada and how my friends in the United States were raised. And I think the way you answered feels like there's something that feels like a part of this difference where it's interesting to me that it sounds like your sort of like go-to was to like individualize, like put the like onus on people being decent, and if they're making bad decisions, then then how do we have a good democracy? Where like for me, I'm thinking like, how do people become confused and bad actors and not decent? And for me, that is a function of the democracy that has been built by the people in charge. And right now, I mean, like we're in like a fucking capitalist hegemony. Like we're like when I see people spinning, acting bad, acting against their best sort of like intentions or like, you know, the thing that might be best for them. Like we're a function of the world that we live in the society that we're built in. And like, I think this moment is a really clear example in how like Trump and Trump's government is working to have us in chaos all the time, feel overwhelmed all the time. So of course people are going to make bad decisions and not be able to make the most healthy, like compassionate decisions. So I think for me, when I think like the idea of democracy sounds cool, like, you know, government where like everybody who is eligible to like, you know, feel like they have power through elected representatives. I don't
Yeah,
know if
but
it's
wouldn't
ever
it
like
be
worked well.
right? And so, like,
Especially in
knowing
like
what we know
especially in
about
a society run by capitalism.
yes. So then, who should be making those decisions?
I get that question. That feels like my brain just sort of freezes with that because I'm like I don't have that answer because it's not like it's so hard for me to think outside of the context we're in because it's like who should make that? I'm like I don't even know how to get there because we are where we are and it's like how do we get to like a healthier place?
So how do you? Where do
I
you
don't
think
know.
that the first step of? Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's where like
Right.
I don't know, but I think that's
Right.
you know where like at the beginning as we were talking. So like personally, how I feel about democracy is like I'm gonna keep participating through like voting, you know, advocating, calling people, you know, calling representatives, whatever possible. I don't expect everybody to do that, but like that's what I'm gonna do personally. But does that mean that like I'm gonna put any trust or faith in the system to protect me or represent me? Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, well, but okay, fair.
Mhm.
And I agree. But the question is democracy real? Or is
Well,
it
it's like,
just
what does
or is
real
it
mean?
or is it a well, okay, so I think so is democracy something that is created as a philosophy that engages the people to think that they are in
It
control,
feels
that
like
they
a
have
trick right
some
now
sense?
to me, right? I
Okay,
think that's what
so
this
you
caller was sort of
agree?
suggesting. Yeah, it
That's
was like
what they're
yeah.
saying, I think.
And I think that's something I understand, you know, and again, this is where I am not like a historian or a scholar in this. So I you know, I feel like I was told
Neither am
that
I.
I
Let's
was
be clear
told like
about
that
that.
there have been like golden ages of democracy, but also like the when people point to them, I'm like, I don't know, was that actually also like, you know, who was writing the history? Who was it benefiting to write it that way? And like right now, it really does feel like, and again, this is where I want to be careful because I still want to do whatever I can to participate, like to keep whatever safeguards we still have that keep people alive. But yeah, it does feel like it's being weaponized as a trick right now too. As like all you got to do is vote, you know. Which again, I
and so my theory is
Yeah.
that democracy is working. But this is what happens when you have a democracy, and by and large, for whatever reason, and the way that you and I might see it, is that people are not voting for their interests. They're voting for a demagogue because they are infatuated. Because you know, like what is it
and
that?
but again, this is the thing. Like goes back to the media literacy. Like again, that like for me, how I've seen the democracy around me, that where I grew up in, like media and news has been baked into it. And so when I see people voting for me, what I see is like against their best interest, but they don't think it is. It's because whatever they're watching and they don't know to look other places. So they do believe that they're voting for their best interests, you know?
Well, as just a thought experiment,
Yeah.
as we go into our midnight in the mountain zone, what if we were wrong? What if we were wrong? What if our news was wrong? What if they were right? And what they're saying is that their news is right and our news is wrong. No,
I mean, I have lots to say, but like let's like leave it. because
Okay,
I really love that you do this. I love that you.
Then let's put it. Let's hold on to that breath, and we're about to go to midnight, and we're gonna time it right now. Chris, go to black right about now.
That was so cute.
Yeah,
that's so funny, cute.
What was I asking?
Okay, so you were you're so nice and generous when you're like, what if I'm wrong? What if we're wrong?
Just as a thought experiment.
No, I love it. And so I think the setup of right and wrong is like hard to do in the first place. I don't know if I'm saying that I am like right or I have the right answer, but in sort of this, I was thinking like when I imagine people who are voting weird and wrong, I'm thinking a lot of like where I grew up, my family, and so it's like wealthy people who think that they're voting for the best interests of workers and shit, but they're not.
Yeah, but
it's really hard for me to, but there are a lot of people who are not.
But do they really think that they are, or do they know that they aren't?
Welcome to my brain my whole life and trying to figure out my
Okay, so
where
then
I
let's
come
unpack
from.
that.
I think it's a lot.
That's a more interesting question to me.
Yeah.
Personally, like what do you think that's about? Like the idea that you can live amongst people and you don't know if they have any. I get it. I grew up in the Bible Belt and in the Midwest during like the rise of evangelism, and or evangelical Christians or whatever, and they were terrible. They were terrible, terrible people. And I used to, even as a child, when I would like see what these people were saying or forcing their kids to say when I would stay at their house, and I'd be like, they know this is bullshit, right? I'd have to go to church with them and I'd be like, but everybody knows that this is not real. So obviously that's everybody has experienced that, right? I'm sure. It does feel a little bit different when we're not talking about walking on water and we're talking about like whether or not Bernie Sanders is in the pocket of the pharmaceutical industry or he got money from small donors and $1 million of small donors happened to come from people who were working inside of the pharmaceutical industry. I'm confused about this, so like, let's just start like, because if Bernie Sanders is in the pocket of the pharmaceutical industry, then what is it? What am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to trust?
Great fucking question. And again, I'm like my brain, I'm going to like my family and that. This might be a good opportunity for us to maybe bring in our producer, Chris, because he is very smart and a teacher.
Oh yeah, right.
On our break,
Right.
he was like, he had some thoughts, and
yeah, that's a great idea.
because I'm like deep in my family thoughts right now, and like I could use,
Okay,
use some
yeah,
grounding.
let's go to
Yeah.
Chris. Chris,
Bring in Chris. Hey, Chris.
come on in, Chris. This is
Also,
everybody at home. This is I gotta figure out how to point to there. Okay, there's.
Hey, folks.
That's Chris.
I'm here too. Yeah, I mean, this conversation is going in a lot of different directions, but I'm gonna kind of go back to what the caller kind of brought up as the major point, right? Is democracy a facade, right? And like, there's not one quote unquote democracy, right? Like, like Mallory could even talk about, like, they have a totally different system of government in Canada, right? I mean, a lot of similarities, right? And the idea of like people voting and things, but I think I'm kind of the opinion, going back to what Craig is talking about, of like, people being bought in and, knowing and making the right call and doing the things that are in their best interest. And I do think people kind of, it's that phrase of like, people fall to the level of their systems or something like that, right? And
fall to the level of their systems. Wait, I just said and I don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
It's this idea that systems are really important because the system can dictate a lot about people's behavior, right? I think it goes back to like game theory and things like that. Like, we all live in multiple kinds of systems, right? Like, Mallory, you brought up the capitalism idea, and there's this other thing of like, so many people in our society are just trying to get rich enough to where the problems don't affect them anymore, and they're really just trying to outrun the issue. That's a trick, yeah, for sure.
Because rich people then hoard, because I'm so sorry, Chris. Sorry.
No, and you're right, but again, like, that's, people are playing the system, like they're trying to work within the system that they're being given, and I think democracy is the same thing. So let's just look at that's the one I'm more knowledgeable about, is the American system. So if we're specifically talking about presidential race, we have what's called a first past the post. So there's a certain amount of electoral college votes you have to obtain, and the first candidate that can get there wins the election, right? That, from a game theory standpoint, means almost just by design that will fall into two dominant parties, like two dominant like candidates that can try to vie for that. Right. Because if a third were to enter, then whichever way that they tended to court voters would basically just advantage the other side. And so and
am I not wrong when, like, we say that, the best argument against, a plethora of different party system is that that's what happened with Hitler, right? Like, he didn't have a popular vote. He wasn't even that popular by and large. But because he radicalized his people and they were diehard for him, when there were 7 different parties that were all running for the same vote, and the vote was torn across them equally, right, because they all kind of had pretty much the same ethics, but this guy was totally outlandish. Well, then you can sink the entire thing with 27%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specifics of that, but I'm sure there's some, level of game theory involved with that. But and again, there's other ways where our democracy is flawed, in the way that, like, people think, oh, everybody gets an equal vote. Well, if you look at the electoral college system, the votes are tied to the House of Representatives, which hasn't been allowed to increase in numbers. And so it should be proportional, but it's not. And so, like, a vote in Wyoming counts more than a vote in California or Texas if you just divide up how much that state counts for and how many people live there. And, so it's just not a fair system, and then.
So then why haven't they been making it fair?
I say, like, the voting is one thing, but again, why I keep coming back to, like, capitalism and, like, the economy is, like, even who we're voting for, like, they are driven by money and like corporations, and so it's like, even all the faults that there are in voting with in America, in the United States, for instance, that it's like, okay, but who are we voting for?
Right.
Like, can we trust them to actually represent us? Do they actually have the power to? Because who are they responsible to? Not the people.
Right. Right. And I mean, I think that, well, so that was another point I wanted to bring up, because
great.
Then, so these different things is kind of like a chicken egg thing, or like a, cyclical, vicious cycle, because people start to lose faith in the system and participate less. And like in my state, like Texas, it's a very low participatory state, actually. And people think, oh, it's solid this or it's this. It's like really most people don't participate because of a large number of different practices that, disenfranchise or disincentivize, discourage people to vote, or make them think that their vote doesn't matter. And so going back to some other point about, like, is democracy a farce? In my opinion, I think the people that are kind of in control and trying to manage and take control of power are actually extremely fearful of a lot of people participating in democracy. And so to me, that's a point that it is like a valid system, and it can affect change. And that's why people that want to wrest control of it work so hard to make sure people don't participate or get disenfranchised.
Or can't.
Yeah, but check this out. I'm on the other side of the coin from the people that you're talking about, right? In a lot of ways, every way, right? But I don't want. I feel like I don't want the majority of the people to be voting because they're so dumb. If 100 and 200 million people are listening to Joe Rogan and they believe that Joe Rogan is telling them the truth and that he's like a reliable source of information, even with all of the just obvious bullshit and like one of my least favorite things is when people say that like they still don't know how they built the pyramids, and I'm like, yeah, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. It's a pile of fucking rocks. I mean, magnificently and old, but
yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Is like I don't know. Go to Disneyland, man. Ride a fucking roller coaster.
They built that too. Yeah.
Yeah. How did they fucking build that?
How did they do that?
Sorry, I'm neurodivergent.
Well, no, I think, Craig, this is it, going back to how you first started answering the question of like people are dummies. Again, this is where chicken or egg, Chris, I think is really good, that like a lot, like so many people are just like, products of the circumstance, the education that they are given, the like access to information that they're given, that like a lot of like, it feels like a miracle to me that I got out of where I came from. Like, I feel so close to a life that would have looked so different if, I don't know, maybe this is like the best argument for me that like I was born a certain way to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because before I got the fuck out of there, I didn't have access to find other information. It wasn't until I left the province and met other people where I was like, oh, I didn't even know I could think different because it was not presented to me, And so
getting outside of your zone, getting outside of what you're familiar with is really the key, right?
And I think like we could put more responsibility on individuals now, given like the ubiquity of like the internet, that like we all do have more access to information now. But like I think, just saying that everybody's a dummy. I don't know. I I always want to like bring more nuance into that and like really unpack like why
they're dummies.
Well, and
fair.
And let's even, you know, that notwithstanding, when you look at average poll, I'm talking about the United States. When you look at polling, right, across a large swath of people, more than who actually votes, the way people's opinions land is much less extreme than either party, really. But I mean, definitely, we tend to be like shifted much more right than the majority of people actually hold opinions on. And so, to your point, if your fear is that if we just let everybody vote, or if everybody even did vote, that things would be even worse, like, I tend to think that that's not necessarily the case, because almost always when you look at polling, folks are more tolerant, more progressive.
Okay, yeah, but
what
this
the
is where
actual
Chris, like,
policy
people
ends up
lie on
happening.
polls, right? People lie on polls.
I guess, yeah.
I think this is it's so hard for me to like not just be so grounded in like my family right now, because like I come from a family that like knows better than to be outwardly like homophobic, racist or whatever, but I know how they vote. But I imagine a lot of them might be the kind of I'm like want to protect their privacy, and it's like certainly not a monolith, but generally the culture I grew up in was full of rich white people who knew better than to like outwardly be like bigoted, but absolutely voted against my best. It's like people in their lives who like they say that they care about,
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like I think that for me with like the polls, that like a stranger asks you something, even if like it's like a anonymous thing.
Yeah, but why did so? Do you think that they voted against you?
No, that's the
Or
thing. It's
so
like,
it's
no.
just what do they call
God,
that?
the mental gymnastics. They've like I've experienced so much how skilled we are at like creating it, like leading into a reality to confirm sort of like our fears and our desires and wants, and I don't think that they're voting against me. I just like they believe that the things that they're voting for are more important.
Right. I was going to say that because people prioritize different things, and then, again, like there's only so many options. Even if you live in like a parliamentary system, like I don't know that there's really that much of a spectrum of like what you're, who you get to vote for, right? Like maybe do you have like 4 options, 3 options?
Yeah, we have like 4 generally, 3 to 4. There's always like the Green
One of
Party
them's
is
basically just I live in
more...
Quebec, like as I understand. Like
yeah, but again, this is the
Okay.
fucking thing. Yeah, sorry. Go.
You know what? We have a listener on Instagram that's been listening all
Shout
night.
out to Instagram.
Banana. Shout out to everybody that's listening to us on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, it's weird. They wouldn't let us use the word midnight in our name. Can you believe that? Like, what a weird thing. Anyway, so we're 12 a.m. across America on Instagram. Follow us there. But anyway, Banana Mango Honeydew
great
is writing in, and they said something pretty profound, and I'm going to summarize, and please, Banana, call in, Banana, but tell me if I'm not hitting it on the nose here. But
before you say that, I just love how
please.
on the internet we can just say call in Banana.
Yeah, I know. I mean, call in Banana.
It's beautiful.
I do love that too. So they're basically saying that people are living in their own worlds, right? And there's just too many of us with too many realities, and there's something to say for that, I think, because like we were talking about this I think several times, maybe even on the show, but that it is not okay to like world bust for people. Like world building is something that you do when you're trying to figure out and cope with reality, and we're all doing it. Like we're all putting a skin on what we're seeing and what we're experiencing. You know, it would be mud otherwise. It'd be too much. It already is too much, and so, you know, we're building worlds that we're trying to deal with our reality, you know? So like when, yeah, but then but when your world starts to infringe on other people's world, that's when it's gone too far. And does democracy, like, okay, so the essence of democracy is that democracy is that the people are in charge. One voice, one vote, right? Does it speak on behalf of like a different perspective amongst all these communities? I guess then you start having a representative government, a representative democracy, which is what we have, right? And then a federal system and a more local system. And it's so like, I don't know. But it seems like the system is actually working. It's just not working in the favor of people like us. It's working in the favor of them billionaires because they figured out how to.
There's not many other people it's working for.
Fine. Listen, I'm not claiming that it is. I don't think that it is.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that like it's working. The system is working. The votes were counted. You know, this guy won. The executive orders are being executed, and in fact, what I've been reading is that by and large, a lot of them are just being dismissed. You know, like nothing has really been enacted. The biggest problem that they've said is like, for instance, the money has stopped. 100% it's unconstitutional. 100% the money is going to be turned back on. But the system of turning all the money back on again is like a real fucking pain in the ass. Just like the fact that he's bragging about, releasing the water, which is a weird thing that I guess the executive branch can just take control of water systems, but he just flooded Central California. There's no way for it to get down to Southern California. It has nothing to do with the fires. He just flooded farmland, you know.
And then it's like a reservoir, right? So like when you do get in the summer and you need that water, like, geez Louise.
Yeah, it's just totally ridiculous. So but it's ridiculous to me. And so and I'm certain that it's ridiculous, but I just want to be, you know, I'm very I very much hate having this conversation in public because I think that it's a very complex situation and there's very intelligent people that speak on it. And I would encourage everybody to like really look into some like, you know, academics, right? Like these are the people that are doing it.
This is the thing. Have anybody been listening to like New York Times podcasts lately? It's bonkers how like vanilla and like, you know, that again, this goes back to what I'm saying is like even people who think that they are learning and doing their best to get information, the fucking New York Times right now, like when fucking Elon Musk did a fucking Nazi salute, every news source was like a gesture. Like, of course people are gonna not be able to see through that if they don't know to think more because we're not taught to think more about the media.
Yeah, but okay, let me just for fuck's sake, let me challenge that and say, I don't know. Everybody in my life saw it, and when they were like, "That's a fucking Nazi salute," and everybody reasonable and any media source that I was talking about was, you know, talking all about it. It was daily news forever on every single CNN, MSNBC, you know, any of the shows that I'm ever attuned to. NPR was talking about it. They were talking about it being a Nazi salute on several of the programs that I listened to. So like it was out there by and large. It's not like that like anybody was hiding that, and that's
but a lot of people were like, a lot of news source media were literally hiding what it was, and we're like, I wonder what it was, and they were entertaining the idea that it could have been anything other than that.
Right. Well, and back to your point,
I don't know. I didn't see that, but maybe that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, and it happened a lot, like in the past, like with other things, a lot of talk about, Biden being senile and like that, these little gaffes was like, breaking news into my inbox, and it's like, really, New York Times, like, this is what's the breaking news is Biden said somebody's name instead of somebody else's, like, whatever. But again, going back, like all of these media, like big time media, like are big corporations, like they're moneyed interests, like, and so like, who are they, gonna side on the side of, that's course, my take on it,
No, and I think you're right, but I think this is why, like, what Banana on Instagram said, that we're all living in our own realities, is like the truest thing. And I think this is where I'm really, as horrible as I felt growing up, I'm glad that I still have like a foot in that world, because I feel very close to, and like I understand very much how people's realities are shaped in like the bad kind of way to me, and even people who are like think that they are going out of their way to get good information. If I didn't grow up there, the people who I'm around right now, it would, it was like a duh. But because I still have
see
this
how many
foot
wrinkles
there.
come out of my face when we're talking about this? Like,
let's watch a music video, Craig.
Yeah, let's watch a music video.
Oh my God! Yeah. What time is it? Oh, look, it's 11:30.
Chris, it's so nice to have you.
All right, it's been nice chatting.
Chris, it's very nice.
Chris,
everybody,
it was really helpful having you here for that, Chris.
Pulling the ropes and working the gremlin machine behind what keeps the show going. So
and he is smart in his great thoughts too. Fucking
well,
man of many talents.
I push the buttons that let me get on the show, so it's like, whether Craig wanted me to or not, I could just put myself on here. So, all right. Thanks, y'all. Let's watch something fun.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Goodbye, Chris. And I appreciate the involvement. Banana Mango, I see. I agree. I haven't read the last message, but I saw Billionaire Poets, and I can't wait to get to it. But in the meantime, and while I read this message from Banana Mango Honeydew,
that's such a great name.
It's a real good name. What I'd like to share for you now is from an artist, a creator online that goes by the alias Once Named Funny Goat, or I'm sorry, Once Named Funnygreat. And they're strange. They're strange and wonderful, and I think perfect for our audience. And I'm almost certain that you haven't followed them. There will be a link below. But why did I choose this? I chose it because it's just the essence of what I love about this like technology and this introduction of platforms and a way to like get it off your chest. And the intimacy that I'm sure everyone has felt, and the privacy of their bedroom or in their car when they're singing along to their favorite song. Well, this young artist has been doing it for years. And so this is one of my favorites of them singing and performing along with one of my personal favorite songs of all time, by Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights. So, this will probably get taken down and we'll probably have to get it taken out. Who fucking knows? But if we don't, it will be there. If it isn't, blah, 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 blah. So this is Once Named Funny Goat. This is Once Named...
Hi citizens of the world. This is an important message for the savvy of all people. There's a great chance that the huge asteroid called Kablamo is going to strike the Earth. Now you might be wondering, why hasn't this been mentioned on the media? Well, the explanation is simple. There just aren't enough possibilities to evacuate the whole world, so there are only a real small amount of people who got aware of this to save themselves. This all went strictly top secretly, for only a few chosen ones who have been found, the right people who earned to survive. Only for those who know about this there's a place saved at a spaceship. But I'm here to tell you this isn't right. We should all buy diapers and try to get on those spaceships before it's too late. Then it's Kablamo. Kablamo.
I'd be right. I'd be riding horses if they let me. Sleep outside at night and not take fright. I would ride the range and never worry. I would disappear into the night. Everybody needs an angel, but here's that devil by my side. Death's head ring upon his finger. Poor boy hanging on the light. They'll be drawing straws inside the courtroom as a sudden twilight turns to black. Torches burn into the sad eyes on the wrong side of the track. Make those horses jump through hoops of flame. They won't kick and they won't scream. Let the good Lord do the driving. Poor boy sinking in the stream. I can smell the campfires burning, but I'll go out walking on my own. By day and night the world keeps turning. Frightened people hiding in their homes. Everybody needs an angel, but here's that devil by my side. Death's head ring upon his finger. Poor boy hanging I'd be riding horses if they let me. Sleep outside at night and not take fright. I would ride the range and never worry. I would disappear into the night. Everybody needs an angel, but here's that devil by my side.
Hey, we're back. Sorry about all of that. We had a lot of technical difficulties, and we almost made it through. But listen, these are the things that make us stronger. And also, we'll look back at these things, I think, Mallory, and be just delighted at how unfrazzled we got when the going got tough. And we just bounced back and came back to finish out the show. I know that we have a caller on the line, so we're going to keep it, around for a little bit and take this caller to close out the night. I'm sorry about, the streams closing for everybody. Hopefully we're back on both Instagram and YouTube.
Technology brings us together, and sometimes it fucks us up.
It fucks us up.
It's the give and take.
And it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No, I love that you mentioned, we did collectively, very unfrazzled. You're like, yeah.
Yeah. And we've had a really good show.
Yeah, it felt really nice. It felt really good.
I wish we had more callers, but I guess that will come. Oh, speaking of which, caller, are you on the line?
Hello. Yes, I am.
Hello. Oh, hi, caller. Who is this?
Hello. It's Diana.
Oh, Diana. I thought it was you.
Perfect
One of
person
our
to close
regular
the
callers.
night.
Yes, we're going to close the night out with you, Diana. How are you, Diana? What are you up to tonight?
Not much. Just, wanted to say hello to my favorite peoples.
Oh,
My favorite people.
Yeah.
My favorite people. How have you been since the last time that you called?
Oh, I'm doing really good, actually. Very good, actually.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last time that we spoke to you, we were going through it. We were going through it together. And so you're feeling much better now. How take us on a journey. Tell us what's going great in your life right now. Give me something to believe in, please, Diana.
Oh, my gosh. Well, after going through my, what was that stuff?
Ketamine?
Huh?
Your ketamine therapy?
Yeah, my ketamine experience, that kind of opened my eyes to a whole lot of experiences. And then after I finished that, then I've been doing my mushroom experiments.
You've been taking mushrooms therapeutically.
Yeah.
Oh, and what has that been like?
Oh, yeah, much better. Yeah, I
Oh,
do that.
yeah.
Microdosing, the microdosing. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I recommend that for people. That helps.
And so, what has been your
microdose, and Diana, changed my life.
what has been your experience? What has changed for you, and how have you
it's
sensed it
leveling
changing?
leveling me out my stress, and just decompressing from the environment, and just dealing with reality, and not taking everything like it's gonna just shut down, like shutting me down. Just breathing and just around the world, people are like freaking out. It's like,
Has there been any single experience, specific experience that you've had thus far that you felt has instigated that change, or tell me about your experience using
just
psychedelia.
the experience of this past the voting. I can't see honestly with the whole experience of I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm an immigrant. I've been here since 1982. So I have So being an immigrant, whatever happens in the United States, I can't vote, but my children can. So, I have to. I
What
have
the?
to look at the whole
I'm sorry,
experience of like,
Diana.
wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It must be midnight in the
It
Pacific.
just turned midnight.
We're gonna use that for a blooper someday.
Yes,
Diana, I'm
but,
very, very, very sorry about that.
No,
But
and thank you. Yeah, let's get back on that.
yeah. So let's talk about that. So being an immigrant, I presume that your immigration status is legal. I don't want to
Oh
give
yeah,
too much.
absolutely. No,
Well, I was gonna say also I want to
very much.
be.
I have a green card, very much. So this, I think, I came here with my father on a green card.
And where did you immigrate from?
Romania.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I knew that about you.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this total turn against immigration and even legal immigrants? I mean, I don't want to rustle any feathers, and I also don't want to echo bad information or bullshit because I don't know what's real out there. But
I read everything, and it scares my youngest daughter. She goes, it scares her. She goes, it doesn't. What he does doesn't affect her. I'm like, I'm not illegal. I'm a legal immigrant. I have a green card. I could work here. I could do everything. I renew my green card every 10 years. I'm about to renew it in 2026. And I can follow all the paperwork, and there's no reason why they would deny me. I follow every rule, every law, every 10 years. So there's no reason why they would deny me.
So
I have a Romanian passport, thanks to my youngest daughter, because I've never had a passport. I've never left the United States since my father brought me here when I was 7.
Wow.
Which is shocking. I don't know where my passport was when I came to the United States. So, anyways,
wow,
that's another story. But yeah, so I can leave the country now that I have a Romanian passport, just in case.
I'm so happy that you have a passport now. Yeah, that's.
I wish I had a Romanian passport.
Yeah. So that's my youngest.
I wish
daughter.
I wish I
eventually.
had another passport. I wish I had a passport for a different country. I wish
both my daughters
that
are
these
dual
things
citizens
weren't
of Romania.
Both your
so they
daughters
can
are
go
they're
dual
lucky.
citizens.
They're dual citizens because they're my children, so they're dual citizens of Romania.
Yeah, that's pretty
Thankfully,
cool to be an international human, especially in today's day and age.
Yeah, but anyways, so with the world, the way how it kind of scared me with Trump getting elected.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, especially for you and your circumstances.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, you're certainly not the only one. But yeah,
and everybody in my life has been telling me, "Become your citizen. Why don't you do it?" I'm like, I hate tests, and now I'm like, should I become a citizen? Is it really in my favor? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Wow, isn't that somebody
Is it
who,
really in
who
your favor now?
immigrated here nearly 40 years ago is questioning whether it's worth it for them to become a citizen of the country because of the way it might reflect on them internationally?
Yeah.
I mean, I assume, is that what you mean? Why? What do you think? How do you think that it might hurt you to have an American passport?
Right? I don't know. It could.
Yeah, right.
Or I could
Good answer.
I also I feel like, well, I don't know, maybe this is, I don't want to lean too much into fear mongering, but if I were you, I would be like, oh, if I apply for that, if I'm an immigrant on a green card and then start applying for citizenship now, it would put me on their radar more too. I feel like that might be I'm just gonna keep living
now?
The way, yeah.
They could be more scrutinizing me now.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that it's well, I mean, yeah, because I have don't know people who like have been applying for
And I've been here
passports
since
now, and they're
1982.
just like getting lost, So it's like this doesn't feel like a great time to make yourself known or appeal to the government right now, Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I'd
Correct.
say so.
Yeah.
So what are you
40
doing to
years.
cope with it? What are you doing?
Microdosing, baby.
Yeah, outside of microdosing, what else are you doing to cope with it? Well, I guess
Things
actually
like that.
microdosing might be enough. Have you dabbled in maybe some hero doses?
I was assuming macro.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Other stuff.
and how and oh yeah, and how is it going for you, Diana?
It's going
How is the
beautifully.
psychedelia experience going?
Amazing. Amazing. I recommend all.
Tell me about it.
Oh.
I mean, we're about at the end of the rope here tonight. So how about this, Diana?
I would say to everybody who can try it safely, do it. And if you can't, don't judge people who do.
Hell yeah.
Because
I am with that.
used to be one of those people who used to judge until I tried it. And now that I have. Absolutely. Don't judge anybody who does, because it's terrible. People who criticize people who do it and have not done it themselves. That's hypocrisy.
Can you talk to my parents? Oh, my parent.
So, don't judge
I'm with
people
you,
who,
Diana.
who have
I'm
not
with
done
you.
it themselves.
And I think that is kind of a lesson in life. Once you've been exposed to something, it's hard to be terrified of it. It's hard to not see something of, something different than just like total terror. But Diana, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to suggest maybe calling back in 2 weeks on the 22nd. We're going to have
Michael Lucid.
We're gonna have Michael Lucid on,
That'd be perfect for me.
and he has written a wonderful book. He has directed that movie. Hopefully, you watched the clip earlier. Yeah. So what I would love for you to do is call in next week, and in 2 weeks, and maybe talk to us about some more about your psychedelic experiences. I'd really like to unpack that with a little bit more time.
I would absolutely too. And before we wrap up, I do want to say that, Diana, it's like, I love to hear that you've been microdosing, because every time I see you like in chat or in here, like your growth has been like so palpable, like obvious to me. And it totally, like everything you're saying about like what microdosing has given you, just like making sort of getting through everyday shit easier. Like I can feel that, like the way you talk is like more confident, more chill. When we see you in like chat, like you look like just more like assured and grounded. So yeah, I absolutely co-sign Craig saying, suggesting that you call in again to talk about this more, because it's like I've witnessed it.
Definitely. Appreciate that.
Cool.
I feel the same way.
Cool. Oh, I love that.
Well, you guys
so
have
nice.
a good evening, and I
thank you
look
so
forward to
much
seeing you guys
for
on Wednesday,
calling and closing
or
out the
whenever.
night with
Yeah.
us.
Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much for closing out the show. And we look forward to hearing from you again on the 22nd. Also, before we go, we've got some final comments here in the chat. And we have American Hamburger that has said that he actually, or they, I'm sorry, I don't mean to gender that hamburger. They actually moved to Germany. I presume Hamburg, when Trump got elected. In fact, I moved to Germany when Trump got elected the first time. And it sounds like they are still there. And so, American Hamburger, I'd like to call out an invite to you. Please give us a call. 712-345-6648. Leave us a voicemail. If you're not a hamburger, if you're a chicken sandwich, if you're a Caesar salad, I'd like to hear from you as well. Where did you go?
I love that they said many people talk about leaving the country after an election, and they actually did. I think that's like such a timely topic. I would, especially being from Canada, like the last Trump, you know, everybody
Well,
was
no,
like threatening
don't
to
get me
move to
wrong.
Canada.
I felt
What?
the shade. I felt the shade coming from old American Hamburger because at the beginning of the show, I said that I was thinking about going to Mexico. They think
Yeah,
that
no,
they're calling my
I want to
bluff.
get into this. And yeah, I want to
I'd
fucking
love
get
to
into
get
it.
into
Yeah.
it, American
Thank you for that comment.
Hamburger.
I would too. Is again being from Canada when Americans were like,
Mm-hmm.
"We'll just go to Canada," as if you can just fucking move here.
I would love to hear from from a German perspective what's going on in the AfD. How is that going down? How is Musk being received over there? I want to get into it. So please, okay, male. That hamburger is male. All right. So I would love to hear from you next time. Male hamburger. And then, you know, aside from that, we made some new friends tonight. We made some new friends.
Nice.
We got on some new channels. We'll be there every week. Every time that we go live, we'll be on Instagram. We'll be on Twitch. We'll be on YouTube. All at the very capable hands of our producer and director, Chris. I'd like to also thank Brody. I'd like to thank Pippa. I'd like to thank our caller Neil and our, you know, family friend Neil. I'd like to thank everybody that stuck around in the chat. I'd like to thank Kate Bush. I'd like to thank Diana. I'd like to thank
you, Craig.
I'd like to thank myself. I'd like to
You know
thank
what
you,
they
Mallory.
say?
I'd like to
Canadians
thank you,
have
Mallory.
two modes. I'm sorry. You're about to be sorry.
I think you guys are great, and I think everybody else is great, and I think that everything is great. And I just was told that it was a nice palette, and so I think that means that you guys think this is a good color.
Oh yeah,
Chris,
God, great color.
roll the credits, please,
Yeah.
and the theme song. Do you think?
See you next.